Let's go ahead and start with a new regular AR verb in this lesson. So the verb is to study, estudiar. It's an AR verb. We call it an AR verb because the infinitive, the form that isn't conjugated, that's the infinitive, it ends in AR, so estudiar. Again, this is the equivalent of to study in English. To study is not conjugated. It doesn't have a subject. It doesn't have a past, present, or future yet. And that's the same with the word estudiar in Spanish. It's just the action, the idea, estudiar. To study, estudiar. So let's go ahead and do something with it. I study, I've picked a subject, I, and study in English, this is in the present tense, so we know we're talking in the present. We use the present tense to talk about habitual actions, so here we go. I study, in Spanish, yo estudio. I study, yo estudio. I study, yo estudio. So the stress is right here on the stu, yo estudio, estudio. I study, yo estudio. Now remember in previous lessons we talked about the fact that we can drop the subject pronouns in Spanish in some cases because the ending of the verb tells you what the subject is. So an O ending for a conjugated verb in the present tense tells me that the subject is yo. So you can simply say estudio. The yo is not necessary. So I study, estudio. I study, estudio. Okay, let's also do we study in this lesson. This is also first person. Yo is first person singular. We is what we call first person plural. I'm talking about myself, but there's someone else in the group, so it's still first person. So we study. Nosotros estudiamos. Nosotras estudiamos. You should notice that ending. Amos is for nosotros or nosotras. Nosotros estudiamos. Nosotras estudiamos. Remember, nosotros, only a group of males or a mixed group of males and females. Nosotras for a group of females. We study. Nosotros estudiamos. Nosotras estudiamos. We study. Nosotros estudiamos. Nosotras estudiamos. We study. Nosotros estudiamos. Nosotras estudiamos. Remember, we can leave out the nosotros or the nosotras because the amos ending tells us that that is the subject. We study, estudiamos. Spanish, español. Spanish, español. Spanish, español. Stress on the ñol at the ending. Español. English, inglés. English, inglés. Stress on the glés. Inglés, inglés. English, inglés. Math, matemáticas. Math, matemáticas. Math, matemáticas. Let's break this one up into syllables. Matemáticas. Do you hear the stress? Matemáticas, matemáticas, matemáticas. So stress right here. Matemáticas. Math, matemáticas. Biology, biología. Biology, biología. Let's break this one up into syllables. Biología, biología. Stress on the he. Biología, biología. Biology, biología. Okay, so let's recap what we've learned in this lesson. I study, yo estudio, or simply estudio. I put the yo in parentheses because it's optional. We study, nosotros and nosotras estudiamos, or simply estudiamos. Again, nosotros, nosotras, optional, and most of the time native speakers will leave them out, just like with the yo. We'll simply say, I study, estudio, we study, estudiamos. I study Spanish, estudio español. I study English, estudio inglés. I study math, estudio matemáticas. I study biology, estudio biología. I've given you a little bit of extra vocabulary here. So if you want to say, I study a lot, estudio mucho. I study at the library, estudio en la biblioteca. En la biblioteca, 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 biblioteca. I study in the library, estudio en la biblioteca. I study at home, estudio en casa. We study, estudiamos, we study Spanish. Estudiamos español, we study English. Estudiamos inglés. We study math. Estudiamos matemáticas. We study biology. Estudiamos biología. We study a lot. Estudiamos mucho. We study in the library. Estudiamos en la biblioteca. We study at home. Estudiamos en casa. To continue learning and to go to the next lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. I'll see you in the next lesson. Nos vemos en la próxima lección.